All right, so welcome back. This is part three of the series on confidence and why it matters when you're changing career, when you're looking to just advance as a person and show up more confidently in life. And we ended our last segment talking about practice, right? And immediately I'm thinking of, people like Steph Curry. Guy practices his shot more than anybody else in the world, and it's no surprise that this guy is the most confident basketball player on the planet, save
Mhm.
maybe LeBron James, but that's highly debatable. And both these guys, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, all these people, what were they known for? Showing up early
Mhm.
to practices and just practicing their shot over and over and over and over. So this is so huge. And when I'm talking to clients who are in my 90-day coaching program, a lot of the time what we're doing is practicing. I'm giving them opportunities to practice their pitch. Right. So I had a client recently who had a very important phone call with a potential employer, and he knocked it out of the park, which is interesting because he ended up having to take the call at the airport in San Diego, no less, which is a very crowded and busy airport. But he had his
Mhm.
talking points ready to go. And so he was just ready to deliver his elevator pitch and explain,
Mhm.
why he's the best person for this job. And it was really cool to talk to him afterwards because before and after the call, the guy was just brimming with confidence. And
Mhm.
it didn't start like that. When we first started talking about this, there was some tentativeness, and I don't know, I
Mhm.
don't really, know how I'm going to present myself. Am I a good fit for the role? Are they going to be that interested? Well,
Yeah.
short order, we got down to the bottom of it, and I noticed I was able to see how much value this guy had to offer. And so in that
Yeah.
process, just helped him get clear on that. And then he saw that.
Mhm.
So he's in a very good position right now because he's got this confidence. So that idea just came to mind, and is because of the practice that we did over the course of our sessions.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, when you look at confidence, it's often, can spring naturally out of competence, right? So you actually are competent at something, then you gain naturally, confidence that goes along with that skill level. But I think it's important to do it in that way, because you actually have, I'm certain, met people before who have lots of confidence and no basis for it, you know, and that's just called bravado, and no one really respects it. And you can fool people with it for a while, you can get away with it, but eventually there's going to come a point where you actually have to display some capability, some competence. And so I think it's actually, if you're not feeling confident about something, it's a great, it's hard to look at something that you're not performing well at, but it's a great way to realize that, oh, maybe I need to know a little bit more before I move forward in this direction. If you're going into an interview and you are really lacking confidence, it may be because you haven't prepared for the interview. And so the preparation, the story you just told, it tracks 100%, right? Because anybody who practices for an interview and anticipates the questions they're going to be asked and starts to put together, even forward-thinking stuff that maybe the interview hasn't thought of, and proposals for what they could do in that role. If they really prepared for it, it breeds like a natural um, confidence. So, yeah, I think that the competence piece is really big, and then also the practice piece, preparation. Yeah, you nailed it.
Yeah, I like what you said there. I mean, this guy was confident because he was so competent, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all it took was for him to kind of recognize just how competent that he is.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, we're talking about somebody that he's looking for a position in the events industry,
Mm-hmm.
and this is something that he's been involved in for the past 20 years.
Yeah.
So he had kind of the competence there. It was just a matter of recognizing it, because you can't make this stuff up. I mean, sure, you can BS your way through an interview, but I think we all these days are pretty good BS meters. We can tell when
Yeah.
somebody's kind of blowing smoke.
Mm-hmm.
So Yeah, in my world, that's why it's so important during the first month of the career change program is to understand your competencies, right? What are your strengths? What are your talents? What are you naturally really good at? So that we
Yeah.
then find a line of work that lays on top of that, that basically aligns with those competencies, which means when it's your turn to interview, you're going to knock it out of the park too, because these are things that you shine in naturally.
Yeah. Yeah, that actually relates a lot to how my course is structured. So instead of approaching it in that exact same way, the first stage of the course is basically to build a picture of, what your life has been like up until this point. What are the things that you do on a regular basis that you're really good at, that you're really nailing? Like you got great relationships with your family. You really are a great friend to the people that you really need you, and you always show up. But maybe your career is faltering a little bit. Maybe you're not really showing up there as much, and maybe there's something underlying that you could start to work on, right? But you can't do that until you figure out what it is. And so when you start to look at it as a story, then you can see really clearly what those things are, because they emerge as plot points. And as the plot develops, you see, oh man, this character is shooting themselves in the foot this way, but they're really great over here. And in any good character arc, what you see is a character going from a place where they have these flaws but some potential to a place where they've actualized that potential. And so that process is like, something you're obviously coaching people through. And then my course is built around kind of walking people down the path of doing. So yeah, it
Yeah,
makes sense. Yeah.
cool. I think that's a good place for us to end on this segment, and pick up on the next one on this idea of what are your superpowers, right? How can you identify them and best leverage them in the future? So yeah, we're going to end on that note, and tune in for the next segment on the importance of identifying and leveraging your superpowers.
Sounds good.